Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton, and along with me, as always, is the debutante of the Deca Ball, Bethany McChesney. And today's episode is brought to you by Duonamic and their door frame Eleviia system. Is it Eleviia? Is that? Do you think that's how you pronounce it? It's a great system. It's terrible to pronounce.
Yeah, it looks like elevate, but with some letters switched around.
I think they should have gave it one of those, like random letter names. Like I'm looking at my earbuds here, like AKG, something that means nothing, like OFX. Just random letters. But anyway,
Well, like you said, every name with an X in it sounds cool.
it's way better. That's how the entire extreme game started.
Yes. And the X games.
Yeah, the XFL, but that didn't work well, but that's okay. But it's a good system. I love it. I'm having a great time with it. And it's getting really good workouts. I did almost like a Murph-inspired workout with it.
A Murph? Oh.
Yeah, so like I hooked, but it wasn't full. I didn't do the vesting, and I'm not running a lot right now because I got a bit of a shin splint thing going on. But what I did was I hooked the rings onto it, and then I just used the top parts and did like neutral grip pull-ups like that. And then instead of push-ups, I did dips on the rings and then air squats.
Nice. And
I rode the bike instead of the run. So
I like it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And doorway. Fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, we had stuff we didn't get to last week. So what do you want to start with?
Yeah, we had the Tokyo Olympics last summer, and then they were followed by our Paralympics, and which unfortunately sometimes don't get as much attention, but it was brought to light after the Paralympics were finished that some countries are not paying for medals in the Paralympics when they do pay for medal recipients in the Olympics. And one of those countries is Canada. Mm-hmm. And so Canada, I know I looked up numbers for gold medals, and there's a huge range in what countries pay if an athlete of theirs gets a gold medal. So Canada pays $16,000 for a gold medal. I think it's pretty small considering what someone gives up who would be the best in the world at an event. But so the US pays $37,500, Australia $15,000. So those are countries that are pretty similar to ours. But then when you compare it to countries like Singapore, if you win a gold medal and you're from Singapore, you can make $737,000.
What's lifestyle like, cost of living like in Singapore?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I'm just going to guess it's lower. I mean, I don't know. I could be way off, but
yeah. Well, it was kind of interesting because some of these countries with such huge payouts aren't really big medal winners. So I don't know if maybe they're just dangling this huge carrot. Because we have Kazakhstan with $250,000, 250,000, Hong Kong, 600,000.
Okay, they'll win their share of medals, Hong Kong, though.
Yes. And then I remember there was the Philippines, which again don't win a lot of medals, and they were somewhere around the 600,000 for a gold medal. Which I don't, again, for a country in the kind of state that they are, I don't know where that money comes from. We have Italy, 213,000, Japan, 45,000. So there's a huge range in what countries pay for their gold medals. So then, interesting enough, Tokyo was this past Olympics was the first time when the Paralympians made equal amounts for a lot of countries, the US being one of them. So previous the Tokyo Games, Paralympians only made 7,000 for a gold medal, and they only became equal with their payouts in the previous Olympic Games, but Canada didn't follow suit. So obviously we had a lot of Paralympians after being very vocal about it. One of the loudest ones was a 1,500 meter runner, and he won a gold medal, and he was very outspoken about it. So it's something that I never really thought about. But when you look at even our medal count, so we had 8 gold medals, we had 6 silvers and 11 bronze, and it's really not that much money. Mm-hmm. It's less money than we would have paid out for our Canadian hockey teams who won a medal. So it's just Canada needs to really step it up and make that equal.
I think it's strange that the US kind of have out liberaled us. We're normally the ones that do things like, well, everybody's got to be equal and fair and right and
Yeah.
good. And we're usually the ones that do that first. Wow, I'm really surprised to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sucks. It should be even. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know how I feel about government paying out for medals anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to do it, it should be equal across the board, right?
Right. Yeah.
I would be annoyed if we were a place that gave away $600,000 for medals, because like that's tax money, and I don't know. I'm really curious. We need to look at like lifestyles in these.
Right. Well, I think giving them, you're like around 20. So we're 16,000. I mean, it's nice. It really barely covers the cost of even getting there when you have to pay your coaches and stuff to get there. Like it's a nice little gift.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. When you're coming from like a third world country and then getting that kind of money, where would that come from? But yeah, I do think it's nice to pair. And then there's other countries too who it's not just, you don't just get money. There's some countries where you can have streets named after you, you get housing. There's a lot more that countries will give their athletes other than just money.
I remember as a kid, I was living in Whitby, Ontario, and Ann Ottenbright won a gold medal in swimming. And they immediately changed the name of the local public pool to the Ann Ottenbright pool. The best part of the story, though, was I remember the story going around that she couldn't get a job as a lifeguard there because she didn't have life-saving skills.
Oh.
That might be true, it might not. I don't know. I just remember it from a kid. So if it's not true, I'm sorry, Ann Ottenbright, because I'm sure she listens to this. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy though. That sucks. And it reminds me, not really reminds me, but it brings me to think about Michelle Burnett, our adaptive CrossFit athlete, who has been very upset about the Open and how it's been going. And essentially people who are not adaptive athletes, but who are injured, going into the Open division or the adaptive athlete division. And she just, honestly, that I don't blame her. That's shady shit.
Yeah. So, and submitting scores.
Yeah.
Doing the adaptive athletes. So let's say they have an injury and they can't in their right shoulder, they do the adaptive athlete workout and then they submit a score and it becomes then displacers for people who are actually adaptive athletes. Yeah. So Michelle is not doing the Open this year.
No, correct? She's and she was so excited before when they finally put these divisions in, and then she's like, it's kind of heartbreaking. I feel really bad for her and for all of them. And I, like you said, if you're injured and you do the adaptive workout, great, cool, put a video out, whatever, awesome, post your time online, but don't freaking submit it in the thing. That's just
right.
It's not for you, it's for
right
people who really need it.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Very sad. And especially because other than that, I'm a very big fan of the CrossFit Open and how it goes, but that part's really needs a little work. But maybe that means more the people doing it need the work and not the CrossFit Open.
Yes. Yeah. And then I think it also, the frustration was that these athletes, their videos weren't really being checked. And that's what she had said too, is they weren't checking, they were just kind of taking the scores. So again, that is the organization's situation that they need to deal with, where they need to be checking.
Well, that's the whole, it is essentially just a virtual competition, and we've all gone through virtual judging and how it goes. And CrossFit is definitely not immune to criticism that way. And I think one year, maybe I'll do one and I'll just put in a completely crap video.
And just see how long it stays.
See how long it takes before I get caught, and like blatantly obvious cheating, some really bad stuff, that way no one can think I'm actually being serious. But I'll make the score reasonable so it's not to draw a lot of attention.
Well, did you notice too in this Open how there was some crazy scores in the first event and how it was actually Ukrainian athletes who were putting up videos in a plea for CrossFit to take out Russian athletes? So again, it was a cry. It was to get attention. But yeah, so their videos were checked, which I was really interesting.
And I was okay with that cheating. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Because obviously they were taken out of the scores, but yeah, I remember seeing some crazy scores posted at the beginning. And that's what that was.
Did you see that World OCR posted? So Ian Adamson, and we didn't talk about this before because I just thought about it. So Ian Adamson posted a video where he talks about not allowing Russian athletes and Belarusian athletes to compete in upcoming international OCR events and stuff like that. And I mean, that's following suit with a lot of people and taking advice from the International Olympic Committee, the IOC. But, and I could be wrong in this, they didn't mention that they're not going to have their competition in Russia, which I think is where it was slated to be. And they didn't mention where it was going to be. And that's why I really took notice of that. So I'm like, they talked about some of their other events like the adventure racing and the Ninja 100, but not where the OCR and stuff, not where it would be.
They can't host it in Russia anymore.
I know, but why not say that?
Right.
Like that's just, I'm a big fan of I'm an organization guy. I want these federations to do well, but that doesn't look good when you specifically, when you say, oh yeah, the athletes can't go, but you don't mention the place where, and I really hope I'm wrong. And I really hope somewhere I missed where they said, we're not going to have it there. Yeah. But I do know that.
Let's just hope that they didn't say anything because they don't have further information.
Yeah, because that's a nasty. But I know I wasn't the only one who noticed.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, that's sketchy. That's sketchy. So
yeah.
Hopefully. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, what else did we miss last week?
What else did we miss? That was a big one I wanted to talk about.
That was the big one you want to talk about. Okay.
Yeah.
So this week there was a lot of DECA stuff, and we'll get into that with our guests later on today. There's also High Rocks. Mm-hmm. So there's a High Rocks in Brennen. I think I said that, Brennen in Germany.
Yeah.
And new records.
Yes.
Just dropping like flies.
Records?
Yeah, well, okay. So I don't think you and I talked about this. So yes, records.
Well, I saw Tobias
beat Hunter's record by 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And even 57:30, and hats off to Tobias, man. That guy, we've known he's been great for a long time and he's legit.
Yeah.
The record for the open division.
Okay.
Broke again. And I'm not sure. Should that be a thing? Do we need to treat this as a different event? Is it an open or is it a different weight class?
Well, it seems to be it's being held like a different weight class, but there's no prize money in the open, right?
No.
So, well, it looks like people want it to be taken more seriously then. So it's just a different weight class.
I think it's legit should be a different weight class because I think of myself and I would do much better in the pro weights than in the open because of foot speed.
Right.
But I don't know. If I was going to do that, if I was them, I would call it something else. At least I would change it from the open division or whatever to something.
Call it like High Rocks heavy and High Rocks light.
Exactly.
Or maybe not light because it's not really light, but
High Rocks not as strong.
No.
High Rocks, you did your best. I don't know, something wrong.
But again, if you're like we've talked to before about High Rocks surviving in North America, especially, and if you want a barrier for entry in High Rocks is the weight of the sled. So if you want to get more people, then promote the open a little bit more, maybe put a bit of prize money in that one, and maybe you'll get more people running in the open.
I think so. The only thing though, then you're going to dilute your prize money.
Yeah.
Because you are limited funds, right? They only have so much money. So you're going to dilute it for your pro wave. I think, and this is the thing, I don't think they need more people, especially when it comes to the open. I don't think they need to put more people at the high top end. They need more people in the middle and on the bottom end, more regular entries, right? Because we know OCR, pure example was Atlanta. There was like 14 elites. And then 2000 age grouper and open waivers. So
Wow.
that's the group they need to bring in, is the everyday, not the super competitive, but the the regular gym goer. So I don't know
Yeah.
that the money would do it, but
Okay.
I don't have an alternative either. I'm being like that safety guy on a job site going, that's not safe. I can't tell you how to do it safe, but what you're doing is not safe. So all I can do is criticize. I cannot offer useful information.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how they do that, but I think that's where they need to build.
Yeah.
And I do believe that it could be, like a High Rocks cruiserweight or something like that. It's something in that realm,
Yeah.
or High Rocks speed, because it'll be faster.
Yeah.
Even though the record's not faster yet, but
Oh no.
to put money on it, it would be.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but from there, we also had some shakeups. David Magida is now off the top 15.
Wow.
Yeah, so I will read you, and if I get my email face on for people watching, it's because I'm going to read this here. So we have, as the top 15 for currently qualifying for Vegas, because there's still a lot of races left, we have Tobias Lotvin. Is that one? We'll take a shot at it. With 57:30, Ryan Kent 57:45, Tim Winsnich. I'm terrible. It's 57:57. Hunter McIntyre 58:49. Who would have thought Hunter would be the 4th seed going in? Alex Ronkovic 58:50. Joffrey Voisin 49:46. Holger Corner 59:59. Cole Schwartz 60:11. So 1 hour and 11. Michael Sandbach 1 hour 32 seconds. Dieter Schwarzkopf 1 hour 33. Rich Ryan 1 hour 35. Tom Hogan 1 hour 39. Thomas, oh God, this is the worst. What does TVR sound like? Dverdick?
I don't know.
There you go. Thomas Dverdick. 1
Say
hour
it
40.
fast and then it sounds okay.
Thomas Dverdick. 1 hour 40 seconds. Dominic Molzan, he's the new add-on to the list in the 14th spot, 1 hour 44. And Martin Muselius at 1 hour 49. So,
wow. Okay.
no Dylan Scott, no David Magida. And you need to be under 61 minutes now to get in.
Wow. So, it's still very dominated then by the European crew. So, do these US athletes have to jump over to a European race to get in that top 15?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. And it's funny you say that. Tara Jackson is heading over for the next European High Rocks to secure her spot. And she's a big proponent. I really like Tara Jackson. She is very vocal and opinionated, and she's a smart girl. I really like her opinions, and not just because most of them agree with mine, but that is helpful. The other thing, and so the women as well, I believe they had, now we have sitting on the edge, like right on the bubble now for the women, is Christopher Goloski. So someone of her standard is almost out. You should with that as a 109.28. Like, even where are we at? Who was new that just came in here? Anika Low. Mm-hmm. She came in with a 109.07. She just got in in the Brennan event. But if you look at it, like, there's a lot of European, not European athletes, but a lot of European times.
Yeah.
And I think, and I will read this. So I'm going to call these Tara stats, because Tara gave these to me. All right. In Chicago, 2, maybe 3 men, because Hunter's timing chip didn't work, so we don't know, were under 3 minutes on the sled. In Madrid, 106 pro men were under 3 minutes on the sled. And 6 were under 2 minutes.
Wow.
Okay. In the elite, this is like an invited wave, 18 of the 19 were under 3 minutes, 6 under 2. And that's for the men. For the women in the elite wave, 14 of 17 were under 3 minutes. In Madrid, 16 were under 3. And in Chicago, none.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's just some of yeah.
Well, that tells you right there.
Great stats, but those are like Jack Bauer worthy stats, by the way, Tara. Well done. I really was impressed with that. Yeah, and by the way, the woman that was bumped off the list was Camilla Massa is the one who got knocked off, and she's very talented. So I don't know. Like, I think the way it's set up until they can even this out, like for next year, if they don't find a way to even out how the courses are laid out, how to keep them all a relative speed. If they're not going to be able to do that, then maybe they need to go with 8 from the Western, 8 from the Eastern, and go that way.
Yeah, that's a good alternative.
I know it's not perfect, but it's simple, and it does seem a little more fair. And you know what? Then it gives it that rivalry to Europe versus North America. And you all come together in the worlds. It's so many sporting leagues do that with East and West. I think it would work well.
Yeah. I like that alternative too.
So it is what it is. There was a couple things that I wanted to say or to bring up. This weekend, there's a lot of stuff going on. There is High Rocks European Championships is this weekend. So we may see some more changes on that list. And, there's some people in danger there. This weekend here in Canada, in Ontario, there's 2 snow events essentially this weekend. Dead End Sub-Zero, which is still be time to get your tickets for that. And I've done that 2 times now, and it's always a blast. I love it. Great OCR. So still get your tickets. Go.
And this one you can qualify for OCR WC from.
Yeah, it's a legit race. It's not just a snowball fun run. It's legit, and it's hard.
It's mandatory obstacle completion.
Yeah, and they're good obstacles. I've always loved Dead End Race. It's a fantastic setup. It's really well done. It's done at Nord 45.
Yeah,
it's a great place to be, and they just keep adding.
Yeah, and it's a permanent venue, which is very unique for OCR. So a lot of the obstacles are part of the terrain itself that they've added in. So it's pretty cool.
It actually was supposed to happen last weekend, but due to the weather, they bumped it because so much melted that it just became like a lake. Like it was just so much. So they moved it to the next weekend, and I think wisely so. I know some people will be a little upset about that, but it's sub-zero snow run, not somewhat scuba running.
Yeah.
And then also on the cold side is RX1's Fury Blanche, the White Fury. And that's a 24-hour team race. So it's a 24-hour team hybrid race, which is really cool. Very crazy.
Outside.
You do have an inside transition zones. And the way it works is, say you're a team of 4, 2 people are going at once, 2 people will be resting inside. So it is. And there's also a 1 hour and a 6 hour division that you can do as well. So you don't necessarily have to do it. So again, like RX1 always does, they seem to have covered all the options. And I'm sadly not going to be able to get to it, but I do want to try this one eventually because it sounds kind of crazy and kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like 24 hours. And they say the weights for this, they keep the weights very doable so that you can keep them on. It's not like you're going to go out and see 170-pound cleans and stuff like that for 24 hours. So it's not as intimidating as you think. And then one more happening is the second race of the Savage series.
Yes.
And that one, I believe this is one of the ones that's like optional.
Yeah, so they had there 3 or 4 mandatory and then 2 optional where you had to pick one of the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So this is one of those.
And this is the one in Dallas, Georgia, I believe.
Georgia, yeah.
And I've done this one. I've been to this course twice.
Oh, okay.
So never run it competitively. It was always a fun run with a lot of people, but it's a really good course. It's on a horse farm, not a ton of elevation, and not overtly muddy. Yes, there will be mud.
Yeah.
There is an obstacle called Thor's Grundle, and I despise it. And if I'm doing a fun run, I won't do it. It's just gross. And remember, when you're on a horse farm, it's not all mud.
You're right.
So But the Savage series, and I'm really excited about Savage here. Very excited about Timo FX, Aaron Newell doing very well in the Savage series. Hopefully he continues that. I don't know if he's going to be there that weekend. I'll have to find out for sure.
Yeah. Well, and Ida won't be there, and she
Mm.
was our top finisher at the last one. So that opens up that position too.
Ida's the real deal now.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's legit.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see her competing against the North American contingent of women a lot more often.
Yeah, that was great to have her down for a little 3-week North American tour.
And I think had she not been so busy, I think she would have done even better at slow.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
She's pretty fantastic. So, like we said, there's a lot of Deca talk to talk about. Anyway, and definitely we're going to get into it with our guest, Nick Ryker, who was down at this incredible field in Colorado for the Dekafit event. And
we should mention one more Canadian race
before
you go to Nick.
Okay, what's that?
Our North of 7.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I had that written down too.
Yeah, so it's a new race that's coming here east of Toronto, and so she used to be on our Canadian Pro team, Sylvie Menegri. It's a 3K course. It's a loop. There's different options again, multi loops, single loops. It's being run in September of this year. So there's cash prizes. They have different options for camping out. There's like a hammock village. There's the athlete tent village. Like it just sounds super fun. So if you're in the area and you want to come try that one out, they have limited numbers for this first year too. So get in on it soon.
And we go on all the time, and I'm really kind of annoyed about it. We go on a lot about supporting local and small venues, and Sylvie stepping up to do this is awesome because Ontario does not have this presence and really needs it. And I'm so glad she's doing it.
Yeah.
I can't be there. I'm in the States. We're down south that weekend. And I'm so disappointed because I'm like, I want to be there. I want to do it. But I may get to go run the course early and be a tester. So,
Oh, nice.
So I'll be selling secrets and tips. I did see all the camping stuff though, and the camping looked really cool.
It does look really fun. Yeah. There's glamping options too.
I was ready to pack up the camper and go, man.
Yeah.
So that is a great one. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And we are going to promote the hell out of it.
Yes, we will. Yeah.
And because let's give her a sellout because she should, and support our local races. We need it. And otherwise we won't have them. With that said, on to Nick Ryker.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
Good. You?
Good. Are you currently wearing a bathrobe? What are you wearing here? Oh, all right. There we are.
Bears.
Not bad.
I'm going through some adversity. My charger just stopped working, and I have to hold it in a certain spot with my finger while doing this. So it just stopped working out of nowhere. I worked all day at work.
Is this for your phone or for your
It's my laptop.
For your laptop. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we already did the introduce you thing, so whatever. Nick, hey, how you doing, man?
Good. I'm really good. Yeah, you guys?
Good.
Very good. Very good. Really excited. I was super excited for that deck event in Colorado. I mean, it was a stacked field. We were a little disappointed Rich Ryan didn't make it. I felt bad for him because I wanted to see. I wanted to see them all there. And Eric Hinman, too. He was another one that didn't make it, did he?
Is that the 10,000 shorts guy?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Isaiah didn't go.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't end up going, but Isaiah's like pretty good at CrossFit right now. So probably good that he didn't go.
Do you think he was afraid? Do you think that's what it was?
I don't think so. No, maybe he's just not in that kind of shape for it probably. But he's probably always in great shape. So
yeah, I could
running.
You could see, Isaiah is the one who famously did the 100 wall balls unbroken at the first High Rocks he did it, right?
Yeah,
100 straight wall.
Guy's a stud.
He's unreal. OCR is most hated man.
Never had a problem with him.
I got along with him when I met him.
Yeah.
But he seems to get that rep.
Yeah.
So why don't you go through it? So I was watching as much as I could because it was on a lot of stories. Well, it jumped around. It was like catching smoke trying to find it on the stories, but
yeah.
think I got the beginning when it was on Jared's, and you went out hot.
I didn't feel like I was going out hot. So my race strategy was honestly to stay with just like right behind Kent, VJ, Gaudette, and then see what happens. And then out of nowhere, I just found myself in the front. And I'm pretty good at reverse lunges. I think I might even just do them too fast and they gas me out. And then like I had like a huge lead coming out of them. And then I kind of just had to commit to it. And it was just such a bad idea, like the worst idea, because it wasn't my race strategy at all. But yeah, I guess I went out a little too hot for especially racing at altitude for the first time ever.
So your strategy on that field, you lost it in the first station.
Lost it immediately. Like just got way too hyped. I have a bunch of buddies from my hometown back in Illinois that live in Denver, and they all came out first time they saw me. And I was in this huge lead. And I was like, oh, they probably think I'm like the coolest guy ever. And yeah, so that's I kind of got way too into it.
What was your plan? You said you were going to stay with those guys and just try to kick at the end, kind of thing.
Yeah, like I was gonna stay with them and see if I can make a move right before ski erg. I wanted to feel fresh coming out of ski erg because I don't have one that I could consistently practice on. And I knew I can't, and VJ, like they do, and they would have just like, I wanted to just feel fresh on that. Cause like time base wise, you're not even halfway through the race till you get to almost the assault bike. It's like once you get to the assault bike, like, time wise, you're like halfway through because those are the longest stations. Mm-hmm. And that was my original plan. Hang on and to see if I could feel fresh coming out of the ski erg. And I was not fresh.
That was really.
I was not fresh at all.
That was on video there. That was the part where you saw you came in with, again, Flying came in there with a good lead, and then Kent came in behind you, and you could see yourself pushing on the ski erg and Kent talking to his wife. Yeah,
just talking to his wife and baby while he's pulling like a 140, and I'm barely hanging on to pull like a sub 2. Yeah, I knew like I was, because like right before I went into the ski, like I looked down at my watch, which I probably shouldn't have, and it said my heart rate was like 193, 194, and I don't think I've ever seen it in a race above like 180.
So you tried.
I tried, and then I think just with that and the altitude just really got to me.
Yeah,
so really got to me.
You'd never been at altitude before. Never raced at altitude.
No, I've just been out there, visited friends. I've done some trail runs, but nothing hard ever.
And obviously it makes the difference.
Yeah, I was a big, I think you could ask like Rich Ryan or Jack Bauer or a lot of people. I was a big, it's just like, it's not that big of a deal. We're only at like 5,000 feet. Like, it's not like we're at like 10,000 or like 8,000. I didn't think it was honestly that big of a deal. And it gained a lot of my respect. The people that train constantly in altitude and then like they come down for that. So like it was hot seating me in my mindset, and like altitude definitely proved me wrong.
It's so hard though. How do you train for that if you don't live and train at altitude or have an altitude chamber to sleep under?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you train for it. Like it's like look at these two puppies.
Oh.
Yeah, so my brother and his girlfriend, I'm roommates with my brother. My brother and his girlfriend, they got a puppy at like the same time I got a puppy. So now we just have 2 puppies and 3 people living in this tiny house. But anyways, so like Bethany, like in track, like there's a lot of track people that live out in Boulder and in Denver, and they train. And I don't know about you, but like I see them come down to like, I don't know, to like South Carolina or Kentucky or Florida, and they run track meets, or down to like LA. And like they're not running, I feel like a lot faster than they would like when they do like, especially like in the COVID year, they did a ton of like inter squad meets, a ton of time trials at elevation. Yeah. And then they would go down to sea level, and it wasn't like they were crushing it. You know, it wasn't like they were running like if they were a 4 flat mile, or they weren't running like a 355 or like a 354. So I just figured like it's not honestly that big of an advantage. But I think going up is just racing there is a huge advantage if you live there.
So from my understanding, and I haven't done a ton of research, is the benefits are more in the training and the adaptations, but like you have to race within a certain amount of time of coming down from altitude.
Right.
Where you lose it pretty quickly.
Right. So, I mean, that was just I was like reverse psychology on it. Like they're not doing that much better going down. So like, why should I do any worse going up? And I was proved wrong, and that's okay. That's okay.
Reverse engineering works. I mean, it makes sense. You had a logical theory there. I was talking to Jack Bauer, and he figures times were probably for some people who were not adapted anywhere from 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes behind what they could have been between that and the turf.
Oh yeah, like the turf plays a lot of effect because actually my 3 Dekafits I've done, they've actually all gotten slower, and I've been in better shape for each one because I did it in Jacksonville on concrete, asphalt, and then I did it in Jersey on turf, and then I did it in Denver on turf and altitude. So even though like I feel like I'm in better shape for all of them, I've gotten slower each one.
You're just building up the suspense, man. You just got to.
No, I can't wait. I can't wait to get on some asphalt and just like rip it. I can't.
Is there another one coming up? Do you have another one planned?
I'll be in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. We will be at Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, Providence, and West Palm, and hopefully I have a top 12 time for Worlds.
Well, right now you're sitting in 11th.
Yep.
With 33.50.
Yeah, not a good time.
It's better than Jack's. You're safer than Jack.
Yeah, and he lives there. Like I don't know. I got him.
He played the opposite role. He played the strategy.
My gosh, I lapped him.
That's what he said.
I lapped him out of the med balls. Like he came out of the med balls, and I went ahead of him.
Yeah, but he still came back very strong.
It was probably only like 2 burpees away from passing me.
Wow.
I died so bad.
It's hard to believe in a 30-minute race you can bonk that hard. Yeah.
And it was just funny because all my friends, they've never seen me race or anything before. Like they just see my Instagram, and I invited them out, and like I had like this huge lead, and they thought like they knew like I'm in shape, so they were like, oh my god, like this guy's like, no wonder he takes it so serious. Like no wonder he doesn't like hang out with us always on the weekends and stuff. and then like I just crashed like that, but it was cool to have them out there.
That would be awesome. I mean, I've done the same thing to a smaller extent at a race. Everybody cheering for you, and all of a sudden you just hit the wall and you're dead.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. But I'm old and suck, so I'm okay. I can get away with it. You're supposed to be amazing. I don't know what you did.
Yeah, no, it was really embarrassing, but it was fun at the same time.
So was there, with the turf and everything, was there any benefit to it? Like, I mean, because this is a bit of a different one. Normally these have been at kind of smaller venues, you know, like, I mean, we always make the joke about the abandoned Kmart and whatnot.
Yeah.
This was at like a pretty big venue, right? How did that change the appeal?
I don't know if it changed anything other than I just thought it was like a bigger race. Like we're literally in like John Elway has probably walked down this field. Like he's the owner of the facility. You know, Russell Wilson just got traded onto the team. It's just like, wow, like there's actually professional athletes that like train here. It just seemed like a bigger hype field, which probably led to like maybe me going out hot or some other people going out hot. But like that was really the only difference. Like turf didn't really, like it doesn't give you can't run faster on it. It's just you just don't. But if there's anything, like that was just such a cool arena. Like I have a picture, my friend took a picture of me like running and like the Broncos logos in the background, you know, and like I thought that was sick.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much did shoe choice change on this one?
I don't know if it affected a lot. I wore my Brooks Hyperion Tempo, and I love those. So they're a super shoe, but they're a lower stack height, which is good for like High Rocks and Deca, I feel like. Mm-hmm. But like you see, like VJ was wearing the VJ Sparks, except all other people were wearing like the VJ Sparks. They're like trail shoes. But I didn't feel like I was slipping ever, like going around the turns at all.
I just think the first thing that would have hit my head would be like an indoor soccer shoe.
You would think, but like I don't train in that. I don't have one of
Yeah.
those. Like I'm not gonna never do something I haven't done, wear something in training, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So Chicago is next on the list, right?
Yes, for hybrid racing. Yep.
Hybrid racing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you have a specific time that you think you're able to hit or that you're gunning for? So what is the goal going into Chicago now? Because you knew going into this one, it probably wasn't going to be one where you'd hit the top time.
Right. I think, I mean, to call my shot, I think I could be in the low 30s. We see like Kent's an amazing athlete, like extremely fit, like he's just a specimen. He's a freak of an athlete. But I mean, if he goes sub 30, that just means the rest of us has to step up if we want a chance to win worlds, and we all got to go sub 30 at some point. Then, it's like you have to have that mindset. Like I'm gunning for the low 30s in Chicago, and then hopefully getting into maybe low 29s or mid 29s or something like that. So that's the goal of the next race, is to run a smart race, even pace. You know, like Kent set the Deca, like if you add up his zones was faster than the Deca Strong record zones. Like he crushed them. So like he obviously put a pathway of how to do it. And that's what I'm calling my shot. Like I'm just gonna even pace it, really take those zones hard. As easier said than done, but that's the goal right now.
Has this one become like, when we watch High Rocks and stuff, it is still very much a runner's game, right? There's the sled push and pull, but very much still a runner's game. When you do your Dekafit here, even though the stations seem, easier than the High Rock stations, is it more about the stations in this because there is so much less running because the intervals are only 500 meters?
I mean, I think the stations matter. Like I think, because we're only I mean, I know High Rocks, like the top people are just going sub 6 minute pace for their runs. And we're not going a whole lot faster either. Like, I think Rich Ryan, when he ran his, like he barely broke a sub 18 5K. Like I think my aggregate was like a 20-minute 5K in the running to like this past weekend. And like Kent's was like in the 18 time. Like that's not fast. So like it's definitely a good mixture. It's definitely more running than stations, but I don't really know. I don't know at that point. Like it's obviously you have to be an extremely good runner, but I think you can get away with being an 18 flat, 19 flat 5K person, I think. As long as you don't lose much of that while in the runs.
Now, when you're comparing the one to the other, how did it feel organizational wise? Because I've been one that has actually been a proponent where one of the things I think Deca has done really well is they've been consistent in their setup, and their setup makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's really organized. Like I know probably the only run that I think doesn't work is that first run. I think that's always consistently short, but it's kind of short for every location, I think. So it's every one that I've done has felt like all the same, like the same exact time to go around. All the setups are right. Like the course is, it's when you have a big, like High Rocks sometimes tries to put on events the size of like a Dekafit, like conference center size.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to do 2 times as much in almost the same exact space, so they have less room to work with. So they're going to probably have to cut some corners, where Deca it's a shorter run and it has so much more space to work with. So I think that's where they can always put exact the measurements with it.
From my understanding, that short run at the beginning is at purpose because you lose a little bit each time when you go around from station to station because you drop back. At least that's what Yancey told us was measured out to be short on the first lap.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
So you also did the relay.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by this relay. I like the relay.
Yeah. So I Mark, it was supposed to be Rich Ryan and I were going to do the relay, and then he got sick and wasn't able to do it. And then Mark's partner, Vince Pakowski, really fast guy. If you don't know who he is, like he is like at altitude, he ran like a 4-mile road race, all sub 5-minute pace. Like he's an extremely fast dude. But he got sick as well. So he had the flu. So we actually teamed up, and I was there all day. And then when we got there, I did not want to run because I was so hungry. because like with my stomach issue, I don't eat before I run. So I haven't ate. I did my race. I had a couple like fruit snacks.
Yeah.
And then I had to wait around all day and I raced because I didn't want something go wrong with my stomach. So, but it was like, that was so much fun. Like literally just like passing off the baton, like you're in high school track or middle school track. And we actually think we ran a lap extra after the med balls. I ran a lap and then I gave it off to Mark, and we were in the lead by a lot. And then two teams got to the ski erg before us. It only makes sense that Mark ran 2 laps instead of 1. We still ended up winning, but I think we would have set the fastest time for that. But like it was a ton of fun, just like how many different ways you can split that up. I mean, and you can go into like, I went to the ski erg feeling fresh and pulled like my best 500 meters ever. I went into the assault bike kind of like good. And I think I did it like in 35 seconds, something like that for 25 cows. Like I felt so good. And I just crushed it. And like, I couldn't do that in a race. Like I couldn't do that in a full Dekafit. So it was a lot of fun.
So did he do most of the running then and you did the stations?
We split up. We split up the runs all the way up to the ski erg. And then after the ski erg, he did both runs. I did the farmer's carry, and then he did both runs after that. I did the assault bike, and then after the assault bike, we split it up more. So he did more of the running. He's a phenomenal runner. And we thought if I can be more fresh for the ski and assault bike, that would just save a lot more time.
If you pulled off the assault bike in 30 seconds, it seems like a solid.
Like 30, 35. People might be saying I'm lying, but I really did. Like I averaged I never saw the RPM go under 90.
So I don't think you're lying. I actually believe you, because the record for 50 calories on an assault bike is like 25 seconds.
That's just ridiculous.
So for you to pull 25 in 30, 35 is not outlandish whatsoever. I've done the 25 in like 40. So I have no doubt that you're faster than me at that. So I don't see that as it at all. That seems very realistic. And you got the baton, did you?
Yeah, we got a golden baton. That was really cool. So I left with something. It was like the most expensive plane ticket of my life to get out there. And not to win any money, but I won a race. I was like, all right, I get to go home at least with this golden little 1 ounce baton. But it's cool. It's cool looking. It's really cool.
Man.
Yeah.
I saw the pictures. I'm like, that's a great idea. And do they still get the Rams for that? They're letting the people keep the Rams now? Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because the first time they had the race, they didn't let them keep the Rams. I'm like, that was freaking cheesy. Gave Yancey proper crap for that.
Yeah.
But I did tell them actually back then that for the age group people, what they should do is offer to sell them, because you can't give those to everybody. It's just too expensive.
No.
But for the age group, say, hey, you get to hold it for the picture. And if you want to buy it, you can buy the golden one that you won kind of deal. Just as something. Nope. I think he froze. Maybe.
All right. Back.
You know what? Your picture on your phone is better than your picture on the computer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And you know what? You'll be very happy to know you froze in a dignified pose.
Okay. Like you guys froze. I thought like my laptop's still working, but I thought maybe it was just too low. Like my hand wasn't keeping in place anymore, but I thought I could make it through it.
His hand, he got excited and his hand moved.
Yeah.
You know how normally when you freeze, you're like in that like kind of pose.
Yeah.
It was like high school picture pose. You were good. You were all right.
All right. That works then.
Yeah. So you won your Deca baton, your 1 ounce baton. You're good to go. Does that mean now in Atlantic City, are you going to branch out? Are you going to do more? Are you aiming for more than just Dekafit? Are you going to hit the mile or strong or do the relay?
Yeah. So I wasn't going to try to like drive out of my way to do a mile and a strong. I just wasn't. And so Savage weekend, had the Savage down in Georgia, part of the point series.
Yep.
And on my drive back, there was a gym in North Georgia that's doing a Deca mile. Like, I'm not like, this is the closest one to me, and I'll already be driving back. So I'm going to drive back, hit my Deca mile, just try to have enough energy where I could get a top 12 time. Like, hopefully, like, I think going like sub like 1930, which I think I can, will give me like at least a top 12 time, which I'll be happy with after a Savage race. And then I have a Deca Strong. There was a gym about an hour south of Nashville that is hosting a Deca Strong in like middle of May. So I'm going to go do that one as well.
All right. Well, I can tell you what you need for your Deca mile.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know if I can qualify for the Deca Strong. It's like I've talked to Rich about it, and it's like almost a complete kind of different fitness for it.
Oh yeah,
it's almost complete different fitness, and there's going to be like just some powerful studs that can do it, and like it's pretty like it's got. I had the Deca Strong record at one point of summer of 2020, 1340. And now it's almost 2 minutes faster, I think. Like how much better people have gotten at it. I know I've probably gotten a lot better at it, but like 11 people are doing like sub 12. That's just ridiculous.
It looks like for the mile, you got to be about 21:40.
Okay. Yeah. So how many people have ever gone like under 20?
Well, right now for this year, so I just got up for this year. Oh, there. For this year, sub 20.
Yeah.
You're looking at 9 guys.
9 guys have? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then you're looking at from 10 to 12 is 21:17, not 21:40, 21:17.
Okay. All right. Then maybe I had to go faster than I thought it was. All right. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for
Just go faster.
For the strong, what is that? Here we are. For the strong, you are looking at 1309 is 12th place.
Okay. And I don't think that will stay. There's so many Deca Strongs and miles every weekend.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah, that's gonna give you like you're gonna have to go like a low 12 to do a Deca Strong in the top 12. Yeah. And I'm gonna go after it. I don't know if I can like get qualified, but I'm not gonna drive out of my way for a 12 to 13 minute event. So I'm glad there's one that just opened up like pretty close to me.
I'm going to drive out of my way to do one, but it'll just take me way longer. So it's fine. So it's worth
it. Yeah.
No. So you're doing Savage this weekend, and then talk about Savage. Are you ready to go? Like this, I love the Savage series.
I am pumped. I thought Savage Florida, I just let it slip away from me, and I'm just ready to get back out there.
That was that one obstacle kind of screwed you day.
Yeah, it just screwed me. I haven't seen it before, and I went through it. I was like, I don't know where to put my feet. My hands are slipping off of this thing, and I just I fell off it like 4 or 5 times. They were probably less than like 20 or 30 seconds at that obstacle, and that was just enough to fall from 2nd to 9th. And then at the end for Air Force Ken and Leon to catch me on the rig. And then I finished outside the top 10. So I went from I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do something amazing to like, I'm so frustrated, but I'm ready to get back out in like a matter of a mile.
And it looks like, and the one thing I like you said, that was the racing was fast and furious and tight, and little mistakes mattered, and that was so fun to watch. This one, the rig seems to have a lot of poles going on.
I took a screenshot of it, and like there's metal poles. Did you see this, guys? Like there's metal poles, but they're into the ground, and there's duct tape on them. I was like, is this something to hold up this rig, or is it something we have to traverse across? I could not tell. Like there's poles like literally digging into the ground, and I don't know if that's something that, and I don't know if they're on the same line as like the lane. I could not tell from it.
Well, something like that, I was thinking like from a design, if you're going to have it straight into the ground like that, what it does do is it stops the advantage of swinging it. So it can curtail your momentum and make it a lot harder to just use your hands. You have to use your feet. Because if you have the poles and they can swing, you just use them like a nunchuck and swing from one to one. But if it's stuck in the ground, that makes it a little bit harder to maintain the momentum. So I don't know how they designed. I mean, it could be either way. But other than that, it seemed like a lot of the rings and the handles and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the one in Florida was like challenging, but most of us can do it. On day 2, I fell back because like those poles were just so slick. And like it was so demoralizing, just like grabbing it and just falling, and just nothing I could do. I think everybody at least fell off it a couple times, and then like Aaron, like the top five just kind of like got it, like they just like held on quick enough to get to like the handhold, and I like me and Jared Flank got there like a fourth or fifth, and we both looked at each other after we fell off like three times. We were like, I don't know if we can do this. I eventually got it, and he had to just give up his chip. Like, and the day before he got second place, so. I thought it was a very fair rig.
Yeah, and the lache at the end was not super difficult either, right? The fact that you didn't have to actually land a lache, it's just the swing of the bell, and I think that evened it out a bit. And then, I mean, Christ, if you were like 6'2", you probably could have kicked the bell still holding on the bar.
Right. Yeah.
So that was not bad. Yeah. But what was that? That rig with the poles. And this is one thing, and the sad part of Savage is you probably could have got away with grabbing above the pole and going across that way, because Savage seems to allow you to grab above the apparatus.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but you probably could have.
Something to keep in mind for the next one.
Yeah.
But so you're going to chase that whole series?
Whole series, yeah. I've never done like a whole series, and Spartan still owes me quite a lot of money, so I'm not gonna give him any more of my time until I get that. And all their series are out west, and that doesn't like intrigue me. That's hard to get to. And Savage, it's all in the southeast pretty much, and besides Ohio, but Ohio is a quick drive for me, like an easy drive. So like it made sense to go after the Savage series.
Yeah, the list is long on that Spartan.
Yeah, everybody we talk to seems to be in the same place where Spartan owes the money.
Yeah, I could probably have, the people I've talked to Spartan, I respect them a lot. I believe what they're saying. I think it's above them. And I have a list of emails like you where it says it's coming in a week, it's coming in 2 weeks, blah blah blah, and it just hasn't yet. And like I try to, I don't go to, like, I don't want people coming in my work and yelling at me and being frustrated at me. So I try not to do it to them, but like, it's been a while. It's been a long time since since 2021.
I think it's really affected the amount why a lot of people have not signed those contracts.
Yeah. Like, and I don't want to get into it too much with him, but like, yeah, like it just seemed pretty shady. Like I put up a poll, it's like, does this seem fair? And it's like the most like engagement I got like on something on my Instagram, and it was like 600 people said no, it's not fair. Like I think one person accidentally said yes. Like they messaged me and said, "Oh, I didn't mean to say that." I was like, "That's actually kind of funny." But like it's not right, and I don't know what else to do.
I think you've done all you can, really. Like
yeah.
Just like you say, you move on, you go somewhere else, right?
Right, and like I want to be respectful because the people that are on staff as part of that I consider my friends, but it's just pretty frustrating.
You're exactly right. We all know there's some amazing people that work for that company. They're great people, and usually it's boots on the ground. Those are the good people working hard what they can, and stuff like this definitely would be above their pay grade. So it makes it difficult.
Yeah.
But so we'll leave that be. And So Savage, you're going for the Savage Stayers. You're heading for Deca Atlantic City. Is there especially another High Rocks doubles coming down the road?
Not coming down the road. No High Rocks Worlds for Alicia and I. She's chasing the series. She's got Big Bear the day after. I already have 2 Savage races in May, and so it didn't make much sense for us to do it. But there's definitely going to be a High Rocks in the fall. I just got to High Rocks releases it. I just need to see it and actually commit to it, and I think I could be pretty decent at it. It's a lot of stuff I haven't trained at before, but I think I look up to Dylan Scott a lot. Like this guy just puts in work, and like on the course he just doesn't give up, and I feel like that's something I can do, just to put in work, high quality, a lot of volume, and then like you get to the race course and just like do that work, like be gritty. So I feel like I could be decent at it if I really try to train up for it.
Yeah, Dylan is just an amazing guy to watch. He'll blow your mind.
Yeah, like he's just. I saw him at High Rock Chicago's because I was cheering on Rich as hard as I could, and he was above Rich. He was in front of Rich on the farmer's carries, and every step it looked like Dylan's body just wanted to drop it. Like his shoulders were like, I don't even know, like his spine was looking like it's going out of his back, but he just like refuses to drop it. And I was like literally like every step he had, I was like, okay, he's about to drop. Rich is about to pass him. He's about to pass, and he just didn't. And like the same thing on the sandbag, it looked like he was about to just like stop, and he just didn't. Like that's just something like not everybody has.
No,
and
that ability to endure suffering he has is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's, and I'm not saying I have that at all, but I think I have a little bit of that because I don't think I'm the greatest runner or like the greatest obstacler, but I think that's how I stay in races, is just being a little gritty.
Yeah. The ability to suffer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in these sports, it gets you a hell of a long way. I think that might be the best quality to have.
It definitely is. I mean, there's a lot of people that can just do really good training runs and they show up to a race and they just don't have it. And that's usually the biggest indicator. I mean, it's the biggest factor usually. It's like, are you willing to suffer? Are you willing to like just turn your brain off saying like you can't go anymore and like it just go? So yeah, that's High Rocks is like the perfect event for that, I feel like.
All right, man. So one more thing. This is the Savage Weekend, like you say. Are you on that podium, or are you gonna clean it up this time?
I'm gonna go for it. Confident in my fitness, really confident in my racing ability. My mindset has just been the biggest thing for me since like last year this time, because like I went through my whole thing and then I had to come back and like I just changed my mindset. So like it's just like confidence is there. Just like I used to get so stressed out about races. I'm not stressed out about it at all. I'm just really looking forward to getting down there and just doing what I love. And when I feel like I do that, I think the fitness comes with it. So yeah, I mean, podium's definitely not out of the question.
Awesome, buddy. Well, while you're down there, watch out for Thor's Grundle. And have you been on that course?
Yes. In
Yeah,
2019,
so
my first Savage, I did. Yeah.
It's the worst obstacle in the world.
It is just like,
it's gross.
I've never been a fan of just like muddy water. I never have. I never will. It's just like, what's in here?
Dude, if it was muddy water, but it's not muddy water, it's mostly mud. Perhaps.
It's a little water.
I know it's a horse farm. It's more what I'm worried what's in there.
Yeah. Like Atlanta, that mud pit, the mud tank, like that would have been horrible to go through. Like what's in this? You know?
No interest whatsoever in that.
Yeah. And then like the Savage, like the water tank is so small. Have you been through it? It's so small. And I'm like, I was in there like at Florida with like 3 other dudes, and I was just like, this is disgusting. Like one of the grossest things. Like, yeah, I was like, we all are just like, and we were like the 10th people going through that already that day. I was like, this is, I don't know.
Do those gimmick obstacles belong in the competitive ways? Really? I'm a no.
Yeah, I'm a no. I would never miss the Shiver Richard or the dunk wall. I think like going through like a dunk, like never having to submerge your head, like it's something like that. I think there's a place for that, but just having to completely submerge your body into it, I don't think there's a place for it. But I don't think like
Yeah, I think they're in there because one of the things that sells with obstacle course racing is those gross pictures, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So the people coming out of the swampy water after the dunk wall, I think that's what it's there for, really. But
absolutely. Yeah.
It's not necessary in the elite wave at all.
And that's what I think. It would be nothing for them to just bypass that one, just put up the tape, run around it, because I don't think it adds to the competitive race. You know, like the shriveled doesn't really add to the this is one of the things I love about Blue Mountain is because they are not allowed to dig there. There's no dunk wall and there's no rolling mud. And it's just boom. Just the way I like it anyway.
Yeah. OCRWC in Vermont doesn't have like a dunk wall or anything right?
No, because you can't dig there either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any of those kind of,
Good
a
to know.
lot of those ski hills that like that kind of same deal. They won't let you do anything.
Yeah.
So, which is most Canadian OCR. It's on the side of ski.
Yeah. Yeah.
So perfect.
Exactly.
Beth, you got anything else for Nick for tonight?
Nope. So yeah, all the best this weekend in Georgia, Nick. We look forward to cheering you on to a podium, and then and get that top 12 spot, and we'll see you at Worlds for Deca.
Yeah. It's gonna be. Thanks for having me. Excited to race. Just excited for the season. So yeah, thank you guys. Always big fan.
One more thing, Duonamic will be sending you a Eleviia
Yeah.
doorway pull-up system that I cannot pronounce, but it's it's great stuff. So they'll be sending you one of those, Nick, and thanks so much for joining us, man.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.